Thank you for joining us for another power-packed message from Dr. Myles Munroe, provided by Munroe Global Incorporated and MunroeGlobal.com. We transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. We hope that this message is a blessing to you as you advance your life and discover your purpose. Now, let's go into the message.
We're going to focus on the 10 steps, the 10 secrets of leadership succession. The 10 secrets of leadership succession. Our focus is going to be specifically on understanding the principle of succession. How does one prepare themselves to mentor and develop a person for succession? First, we need to think about the mind of the leader. This has to do with the mentality or the belief system of a leader, because mentoring requires a certain attitude. So the first statement I want to make in this segment is to focus on the fact that leadership is about sharing power. That's a mentality issue, or as we would say, a philosophy issue. If your philosophy is gaining power, protecting power, reserving power rather than sharing power, you will not mentor. So your philosophy will determine your behavior. So this is a philosophical statement. True leadership is about what? Power sharing. Think about it for a minute and see if that's your belief. Do you really believe that? You might be quick to say yes, but if you think about your lifestyle, your leadership style, and your leadership behavior, it may be saying something different. Your ability to share power has to be regulated by a sense of security. That leads to point number 2. True leadership does not seek power. It seeks to empower. The average leader today in all countries that I've been in are motivated by a desire for power. And power can be defined many different ways, but in most cases it's considered control. Whether it's controlling people or controlling assets or controlling resources. And this is why people want money, they want position. Even knowledge could be used to gain power. But our job as leaders is to empower people. Think about what that does if that's your belief system. When you enter a position, or if you start an organization, I ask you a question. Why did you start the organization? It's not necessary to accomplish a goal like building a building or establishing a company or gaining profits. And those 3 things are probably what motivates most of you. It should be about improving people, empowering people to become successful and to not need you. I've discovered that when you release people, they come back to you with more. Because they expand. And when they expand, they have excess to bring back to you. So empowering people is the motivation for true leadership. Number 3, the priority of true leadership is to prepare your replacement. Prepare your replacement. Work from now on, when you go back to your workplace or your job place or your business or your ministry, make this a goal. Write it down in capital letters. I'm going back to prepare my replacement. Make it one of your goals. You know, we write goals every year. Don't leave mentoring off your goal list. In our organization, we are training people constantly, and we are really driving hard in this area because my plans are greater than what I'm doing. I'm talking about in our local environment here, because if I become so attached to the local, then I can't handle the international. So whatever you embrace will hold you. I'm pausing because you missed it. Whatever you hold on to will hold you. So hold everything very slackly, because it can become a prison. Number 4, true leadership does not just capture a vision, which is what we are all driven by, our vision, but we also capture not just a vision of the future, but a vision of the future leaders. How about that for a vision? Sometimes we only have a vision of our organization, of our dreams, our ministry, our business. What about having a vision of the future leaders who will run it, who will inherit it, who will take over? Have a vision of the leaders as well. It doesn't make logical sense for you to have a great vision to build something significant in your lifetime, and in the end, when you've died, no one is there to take care of it. So don't just have a vision for your vision. Have a vision for the leaders who will preserve it. And again, that demands mentoring. All right. The principle of succession is an interesting one because we don't think about it too often. But here's one of my take on this. A vision that is genuinely from God will always be bigger than your lifetime. In other words, God will never give you an assignment that you can complete in your lifetime, because He is a generational God. He will not allow you to complete the vision. He'll allow you to finish your phase of it. Most of what you've written down to do will not be done by you. It requires succession. So you can always tell when a dream is from God. You can never finish it. You can only finish your part of it. You know, I think one of the greatest statements made by Jesus Christ on earth, who I consider to be the greatest leader that I've ever thought of and meant, was this: it is finished. And I think what's important in those words is He did not say, I am finished. There's a big difference between I am finished and it is finished. It is referring to a phase. Why? He is still working, isn't he? But he went to another phase, and the phase required relocation to another place. And he's now working, and his phase now is what? Intercession. But he's still working. Your next phase may require relocation. Who told you you're going to die in Guyana? But you see, if you're so stuck on hanging on to that position, God can't get you to the greater work. You could be so in love with what you are doing that it prevents you from your greatness. Never think what you are doing now is great. It's a phase. How can you be better than resurrection? Simple. go to heaven, sit on a throne, and pray. That's greater than resurrection. Now, I mean, you think you can't get better than resurrection. Oh, yes, he's gotten better. He is seated on a throne. That's better than resurrection. See, what you think is great is not the end of your life. So, the dream in your heart will always be bigger than your lifetime, and you were only given that dream to complete your phase. And it's important to know when your phase is over. Age does not measure the phase. Please write it down. The phase of Jesus Christ's assignment on earth was finished at 33 years old. Stop planning to grow old where you are. You're blocking the next generation. And sometimes you'll be sent to do an assignment only for a few months, or maybe a few years, or maybe a decade. Don't get tied to it, because life is much bigger than your job. Your life is bigger than your job. And so don't get stuck. If the spirit of mentoring and succession comes upon you, you'll always be progressive. You'll always be free to move. And by the way, if you capture the spirit of succession and mentorship, you will never be depressed when they fire you. Because your interpretation of that would be, it's time to move on. They didn't fire you, they released you to your next phase, that's all. But if your job was your life, they destroyed your life. You never lose anything in life. You simply go to the next phase. Number 3, the ultimate goal of true leadership is not to maintain followers. And I want to repeat that, because I believe that we have this idea that we must keep people coming after us. And that is not the goal of leadership. The goal of leadership is to maximize people's lives around you so that they can become greater than you are. This is the heart of leadership. Now, we're going to get to some deep stuff here. Why don't we reproduce leaders? Take a deep breath. Oh dear. Here's some of the reasons why you don't produce leaders. Everyone, please get this CD and brainwash yourself with it, or wash your brains, because you could be one of the greatest hindrances to success and progress if you do not want or nor desire to reproduce leaders. But why don't we reproduce leaders? First reason, because we replicate the poor leadership habits of others. In other words, no one trained us, so we don't train anybody else. No one helped me, so I ain't helping nobody. That's the attitude we have. I got here by my own hard work, let them get there by their own hard work. In other words, you are replicating this bad habit of the leaders that were in your life. Well, I am going to believe that that changes today. That you are going to leave here with a different example of leadership. Second reason why we don't produce leaders is we lack good models and mentors. If you didn't have a leader in your life that was a good role model, you will find it difficult to become one. This is why fathering is so important. A good father will produce a good son who will produce another good son. Your models become your life lessons that you teach other people. So we don't produce leaders in our lives because no one produced us. Third reason why we don't produce leaders is because we lack training. We don't know how to do it. This is why the International Third World Leaders Association exists. We exist to provide formal training opportunities like this right now, so you could stop guessing about what to do. Stop experimenting with people's lives and with resources and with money and time. You need to use them strategically with precision, and that means you need skill to do that. So we need to be trained so we can train. Many of you will take this material that you get here today, and when you use it, you're going to be better than I am. And I expect that. It's going to come through your personality. It's going to become your own information, and that's what I want. Because if I train you properly, you'll be training other people better. Leadership is reproduced by leadership. Number 5, why don't we reproduce leaders? We lack the power of letting go. We don't want to let go. We don't reproduce leaders because we don't want any other leader around us. We want to be the chief. Everybody else is Indians. Pardon the expression, but we use that here in the Western world. We need to have the attitude that we are in the business of chief makers. And to do that, you got to let go. Why don't we let go? Because we have made our positions synonymous with our value. Why don't we reproduce leaders? Number 6, we put paperwork before people work. I got a lot of work to do today. I can't see anybody. You ever said that? I have a lot of work to do today. I can't see anybody. Don't look now, but that's you. I got a lot of paperwork to do today. I can't see anybody. So we don't reproduce. To reproduce leaders, you must spend time with people. There's a place for paperwork. It's between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. That's me. My days belong to people. Yeah. That's why we don't reproduce people. We reproduce memos. Mentoring is about people, not memos. I remember one time, I'll never forget this. I was in my office, and my secretary, who's sitting out there, she's my eldest sister, she said, there are 2 guests from the ship downstairs to see you. And I was just in the middle of my annual report. And I'm thinking, this is a bad moment. And she said, I know you're busy, but they said that they must see you. They've been reading your books, they've watched your TV shows, and they came to the Bahamas on a cruise, and they took a taxi all the way over to our center. They just want to see you for 3 minutes, just to shake your hands and tell you thanks for helping them. I said, oh, man. And I heard a voice. They are people. So I closed my folder, shut the computer. I said, bring them up. And they came up to my office, walked in. There's sandals, short pants, T-shirt, hat. This guy and his wife. And they were so happy to see me, and we hugged and greeted. And I said, sit down. They said, no, we didn't come to stay long. I said, sit down. They said, why? I said, because you're people. And they said, you would actually take time to see us? I said, sure, you're people. That's what I heard. So we sat down, chatted a little bit, and they told me where they were from and how much our work had blessed them and changed their lives, and how their kids were reading our books, and their young son had started a business from reading one of my books, and they were so excited, and I was listening to them. I was so encouraged by what they said, and I said, thank you so much for coming. And they stood up. They said, can we take a picture? I said, sure. We took a picture, and we were walking down the hall back out to the door, and the guy turned around and said, oh, by the way, we bought you something. And he turned around and gave me an envelope. $10,000. I said, Lord, send me more people. Plenty people. Paperwork or people? You never know what they're carrying. Are you too busy to get blessed? Why don't we reproduce leaders? We lack affirmation. The absence of affirmation in our own lives. If people didn't affirm you, you will find it difficult to affirm other people. This is where we get the attitude again. No one helped me, so why should I help you? That's the spirit of this strange attitude. I'm not going to mentor you. No one mentored me. I had to work hard to get what I have. That's the reason why you got it, so that they don't have to work hard to get it. You mentor to prevent the other person from going through the stress. You mentor so you can grow leaders better than yourself. The next one is an important one. We don't reproduce leaders because we have no time for mavericks. You know what a maverick is, right? Somebody who is so full of energy and new ideas and dreams that they irritate you. Matter of fact, when they come in your presence, they remind you of how old and dumb you are. A maverick can embarrass you. They will come and say, well, why can't we solve that problem? You're like, I've been trying to solve it for 40 years. Well, just do that, and do this, and do this, do this, and it's solved. And you go, I hate you. A maverick will test our capacity to expand. We don't reproduce leaders because we don't want no one around us smarter than us. You know, you got these kids coming out of college now with a degree in cyberspace, internet visits, and you just trying to type with one finger. And they get hired in your department, and they make more money than you who've been there for 50 years. And you hate them. They're mavericks. If you're smart, you would embrace them and say, look, let me coach you into greatness. Because I can't ever go back to school and learn what you learned, but let me at least get the credit for making you great. Clap, everybody. Clap, clap. That's a good place to clap. If you make them successful, you get the credit. You can always say, that's my mentee there. Yeah, he's now the president. I mentored him. Don't become jealous of mavericks. Embrace them. Don't be afraid of new ideas, new ways of doing things. This last one is very important. We don't reproduce leaders because we are dictators. We tell you what to do. You listen to what I say. I'm the boss here. I am the bishop. I am God's anointed. I am the pastor. That's your problem. are a true leader, you do not control people. You develop people. Do not be a dictator in decision making. Otherwise, you'll never create leaders. Allow people to run with the vision. You know, this conference, I didn't have nothing. I didn't do anything for this conference. Our entire staff and leaders, they've created this whole thing. At the beginning, I did everything. I was involved in every detail, but today I don't touch it for years. Why? Well, I've reproduced myself. Leadership is not dictatorship. Release people. Reproduce them. Okay, here we come down to the end. 10 marks of a secure leader. 10 marks of a secure leader. Number 1, think beyond your leadership. This is imperative. If you are going to be a leader that mentor your successor, you must first think beyond your leadership. You are not an end in yourself. This is not about you, and you are not the star. You are simply an extra on stage. Number 2, think generationally. Think about the unborn and what you will provide for them and how you prepare this place for the unborn. Number 3, be aware of your mortality. Great leaders always think about their death. Foolish leaders believe they ain't never gonna die. You are a great leader if you are constantly conscious of your mortality. I could die tomorrow. You know, one of our fellow trustees who passed away not too long ago, Dr. Turnell Nelson, we used to sit in my kitchen for hours and talk, sitting on the stool. And we'd be sitting there talking all kind of dreams, and he would just teach me so much stuff and share his heart with me. And I used to keep telling him, you need to write some of this in books. Hours. And then he was gone. He wasn't old. We still remember him energetic, running up and down here, teaching us. And he was gone. Life is that fast. So invest in people. He invested in me. That's why I'm still calling his name. Some of you are here because of him. In this meeting today. He started to build a building in Trinidad, never finished it, but he built you. He invested in people. His legacy is in us. Who are you mentoring? Because you know you will die. I discovered something about death. Lately, it has no respect for age. When I was a kid, only old people died. You all remember those days? Only old people died. Today, no. So make every day a mentorship day. Number 4, aware of your dispensability. You are dispensable. You know, a leader always knows that the board could fire them in the morning. So they always secure life after that job. Think in terms then of always leaving. You are dispensable. You are not indispensable. And some of you religious leaders here today, you all need a revelation. Because somehow we get this idea that if the Lord called me, no one can move me. Oh, yeah? No. You're dispensable. We can actually do without you. Can you imagine that? Matter of fact, sometimes we'd be better off. I won't finish that sentence, but it's amazing. We think we are it. No. I made a decision that the next 4 years of my life, I am going to empty myself of my vision. I'm going to identify some people, and I'm going to empty myself. Because I'm dispensable. Vision is not dispensable. Visionaries are. I have 7,000 prophets that could take your place. So settle down, Elijah, and behave yourself. You're dispensable. It is a privilege to be leading, not a right. Yeah. Number 5. The mark of a secure leader. They are aware that they are responsible for the organization's future. This is very important. Most of the time, people in leadership positions in organizations, whether it's a political party, or whether it's a church, or whether it's a business, or a family business, we get this idea that we are in that position to secure ourselves. So we try to get promoted, we try to get a big salary, we try to get a private parking space with our name on it, we try to get the corner office, we try to be the one with the title, the bishop, this thing, and God is saying, no, this is about the organization. Leadership is about securing the company. And the only way to do that is succession. You want a human to protect this place. Number 6, a secure leader is secure in herself, in himself. Their security is in themselves. They don't get their security from what they do, or what they are called, or what position they are in. Their security is inherent in their revelation. To God. They know they are important to the world because they were sent to fulfill an assignment. That's their security. So no matter where they are still confident. Number 7, a secure leader is not afraid of other people's success. Boy, that's a big one. I've never seen so much jealousy than I've seen in the Christian environment. Jealousy is a sign of insecurity and a lack of vision. Jealousy means you don't know who you are, And so you don't want no one else to be themselves. Jealousy means that you are insecure in your own self. A person who is confident will always encourage other people's success. They rejoice when other people succeed. When you train people and they succeed, that goes to your credit. So you help them succeed. Number 8 rather. True leaders who are secure, they act as a visionary. They don't act as an owner. I don't own this company. I don't own this ministry. I'm just a visionary. I'm a delivery boy. I come to deliver you something from the eternal, to put it in time. I came to take the invisible and bring it into the visible and then leave. I am not here to own this. I'm just a delivery boy. That's leadership. Number 9, leaders who are secure are always preparing to leave, not to stay. What did I say? Always preparing to leave and not to stay. Can you go home with that spirit? You know, I was intrigued when I read the first official meeting that Jesus Christ, the greatest leader, had with his team. The first meeting. The first meeting blew my mind. Matter of fact, I'm still trying to get over it. His first formal meeting, the Bible says he called them together unto him. And he said unto them, now, he's having his first meeting with his mentees. Do you know what was on the agenda? One word: death. You should go read it sometime. A meeting about death. His first meeting. Why is that important? He wants to set the whole atmosphere. He says, look, I called you here today to make an announcement. I'm going to die. Now, let's start the organization. That's what he did. He began by announcing his departure. I dare you. I dare you to do it. Prepare them for your departure. He began it that way. Matter of fact, that's what made them so afraid. He says, I'll be crucified, they will bury me, and I'll come back the third day, but I want you to know up front that I'm going to die. Now, let's begin. What a way to begin. I'm not going to be here, so you all learn fast. That's what he was saying. Can you make that announcement to your organization when you go back? Just call a big staff meeting and say, all right, I want you all to know I'm going to die. Not immediately, but eventually. And so I've been to the Bahamas and I got some clear understanding, and I want you all to know that while I'm with you, I'm going to teach you everything I know. That should be your attitude. I guarantee you'll get more productivity after that meeting from your people, because they'll finally believe you care. It's not about you. You're temporary. Once you make that announcement, it generates a spirit of obligation for you to mentor. You become more conscious of your responsibility to take care of every person in that organization, to help them become better. And number 10, secure leaders. One of their marks is they focus on securing their legacy, not securing their bank account, not securing their real estate, not securing their cars. They are more concerned about securing what? Their legacy. They think that way. This is the spirit of mentoring. I'm just like you. I got to be careful about my own notoriety. It's a heavy burden, but it can become a killer. I'm very conscious of my very thin clay feet. I could be here today, gone tomorrow. I'm very much afraid of my own success. Success is hazardous. So stay in touch with people. Make them your priority. Give your life away. Distribute yourself to your generation. Become a mentor of mentees who mentor. Live for the success of other people. Make your dream the dreams of other people being great. It's good for you that I am not present. Because if I am present, you cannot do greater works. May that be your prayer also.
Thank you once again for listening to this message, as we hope that it has been a blessing to you. Our goal is to show you new paths and opportunities so that you can discover your purpose. It is your love, support, and partnership that makes Munroe Global possible. Please visit us online at www.munroeglobal.com for more product, partnership, or to join us at one of our live events around the world.